You know, we spend about a third of our entire lives doing it. But what if everything we thought we knew about sleep is completely wrong? Today, we are diving deep into how this thing we do every night is being totally revolutionized.
So, let's just start with a huge question right off the bat. What if sleep isn't just about resting your body? What if it's actually for unlocking your mind's real power? Imagine it's not a passive state at all, but an active, incredibly powerful tool for building the person you want to become.
For the longest time, the old model was all we had. Sleep was just downtime, a necessary break to recover from the day. But this new model, which is backed by some amazing neuroscience, flips that whole idea on its head. We now see sleep as an active process. It's neurobiological reprogramming. Think of it less like powering down your computer and more like running a super sophisticated operating system update on your brain every single night.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this new way of thinking. Sleep isn't just about waking up feeling rested. It's about literally rewiring your brain circuits to learn better, be more creative, and adapt to your world. Your consciousness doesn't just switch off, it gets a full-on upgrade.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this nightly upgrade actually happen? What's the biological machinery that's firing up in your brain while you're fast asleep?
All right, first up, we've got a process with a fancy name, synaptic homeostasis. But the idea is pretty simple. Think about it like this. All day long, your brain is making a ton of new connections as you learn and experience things. Well, deep sleep comes in and acts like a master gardener. It prunes away the weak, noisy connections and strengthens the ones that are actually important. This makes your whole neural network leaner, faster, and way more efficient for the next day.
And then there's the glymphatic system, which is basically your brain's personal cleaning crew. And this is wild. During deep sleep, the channels in your brain actually get bigger, allowing this fluid to rush through and wash out all the metabolic junk that's built up. This includes nasty stuff like beta amyloid, a toxin linked to Alzheimer's disease. So that feeling of mental clarity you get after a great night's sleep, that's not just in your head. Your brain is literally, physically cleaner.
And of course, not all sleep is created equal. Your brain cycles through different stages, and each one has a very specific job to do. You've got your deep non-REM sleep, which is all about that physical restoration, toxin clearance, and neural repair we just talked about. But then you have REM sleep. That's where your brain gets really creative, making these wild connections between different ideas and processing emotions. They're two totally different processes, but they work together to give you that full cognitive upgrade.
Now, this is where things start to feel like science fiction, but it's real. We're actually moving beyond just understanding sleep to actively, enhancing it. As sleep scientist Dan Gartenberg says here, we now have the tools to intervene and make our sleep work even harder for us.
So how on earth does that work? Well, it turns out that if you play specific sounds at just the right moment, sounds that perfectly match the frequency of your brain's own delta waves during deep sleep, you can actually encourage your brain to make even more of them. It's like giving your brain a perfectly timed little nudge to dive deeper into that restorative state. You're essentially supercharging your sleep.
So this brings us to the really practical stuff. We've talked about the what and the why, but how do you actually take control of this incredible process? How do you become what you might call a conscious sleeper? And what's really surprising is that preparing for a fantastic night's sleep actually starts the moment you wake up. It's true. Getting some direct sunlight in the morning helps anchor your body's internal clock. What you do midday with food and movement matters too. And then in the evening, you have to signal to your body that it's time to wind down by dimming the lights. It's not about some magic pill, it's about a whole 24-hour cycle that sets the stage for deep, powerful restoration.
Okay, the last 30 minutes before you even think about getting into bed, that time is sacred. This is your wind-down ritual. First, a digital off-ramp. That means no screens, no email, no stimulating media. This is non-negotiable. Then a mental defrag, something like journaling or just jotting down what you're grateful for to clear out the mental clutter. And finally, you give your body the physical cues. Dim the lights, breathe slowly, make sure the room is cool. You're telling your entire system that it's safe to power down and begin that upgrade.
And for anyone who wants to take this to the absolute next level, there's lucid dreaming. That's the art of becoming consciously aware that you are in a dream while you're dreaming. And it's not just a cool party trick, it's a way to directly interact with your own subconscious mind. And you can actually train for it. Simple things like asking yourself, am I dreaming during the day, or keeping a dream journal right by your bed, these things can dramatically increase your chances of becoming a conscious architect of your own dream world.
All right, let's zoom out for a second.
As we get better and better at engineering our own sleep, we're stepping into a completely new frontier. And it's one that brings up some really profound questions about technology, ethics, and, well, what it even means to be human.
And trust me, this evolution is happening incredibly fast. Right now, we're in the age of active feedback, wearables, EEG headbands, AI sleep coaches. But soon, we're going to see fully integrated environments where our smart homes automatically adjust light and temperature based on our unique sleep patterns. And if you look even farther out, we're heading towards a future of what you could call conscious co-creation, where brain-computer interfaces might actually let us shape our memories and design our dreams with intention.
This huge technological leap forces us to stop and ask some very serious questions. As these devices start monitoring and influencing our sleep, who owns the data from our sleeping minds? I mean, it's the most intimate data imaginable. Does our subconscious landscape just become another commodity to be bought and sold?
And the implications get even deeper than that. I mean, when an external piece of technology can influence your dreams, your memories, what does that do to your sense of self? How do we protect our personal autonomy when the very boundary of our consciousness starts to become permeable?
And this really brings us back to the heart of this entire shift. The goal is no longer just about sleeping more. It's about transforming those hours into a powerful, intentional, regenerative state. It's about sleeping with purpose.
Ultimately, this new frontier of sleep is challenging us to completely expand our definition of what it means to be aware. It suggests that the next great leap forward in human potential might not come from our busy waking lives, but from learning how to master the vast, powerful, and mysterious world we enter every single night.